Do you want to wake up feeling like you're stepping into who you're meant to be, into the best possible version of you? What if I told you that the key to your best life, health, and happiness are all around you? You just have to find what works for you. I'm Hope Pedraza, and I believe that there isn't just one way to live a healthy and meaningful life, and that all you need is a little inspiration to make changes that last from the inside out. Each week, I'll be sharing tangible tips and inspirational interviews to help you on your journey. These are the steps to take to improve your life and live with purpose. This is Hopeful and Wholesome. Hey y'all, welcome back to Hopeful and Wholesome and to this last part of my 4-part series on emotional resiliency and emotional intelligence. And I wanted to finish off this series talking about the nervous system. And while we have talked about the nervous system on the show before, we've had multiple episodes about the nervous system in different capacities. I wanted to specifically talk about it and how it relates to what we're talking about here in terms of emotions, feeling emotions, allowing emotions to move through our body, and what that looks like. And the fact is that this whole process that I've been going through the past few days or the past few episodes, the extent of what's happening in your body it's only going to be allowed by how safe your nervous system feels. And so the amount of uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure that we can really be with and sit with and feel safe with is really and truly dictated by how much safety we feel in our nervous system. And so the big question is, can we sit and be with all of life and all of us, or only the parts that you can control, right? Only the parts that feel safe for you. Do you find that you filter your emotions and hide behind your busy work schedule, your relationship, your responsibilities? It's almost impossible to sit in uncertainty, which is essentially sitting with your emotions is uncertain because you don't know what's going to happen. And that's why we resist it, because it's the unfamiliar. It's almost impossible to sit with that if you don't feel safe. And so the other question I want to ask is, where do you source your safety? Is it in certainty, the things that you know for sure? Is it in control, logic, trust, faith, love? Like, what is your source of safety? Your nervous system's bandwidth is going to determine what emotions you're willing to feel, what perspectives that you're able to have access to, and then how much actual reality that you can handle. This is all determined by our nervous system, because the fact is life is full of uncertainty. Life is uncertain. The game of life is literally uncertainty. Like that's what it is. But the question is, how ready is your nervous system to deal with life, to deal with the uncertainty? The quality of your life, the quality of your health are in direct proportion to the amount of uncertainty that your nervous system can handle. A tight, wound up nervous system holding patterns of resistance, contraction, struggle to sit with any uncertainty, right? Any loss of control or not knowing creates a total stress and anxiety in your body and this type of nervous system. Your nervous system can only feel safe with what's certain. Then stress and anxiety is those are going to be your constant companions. On the other hand, if you have a nervous system that is expanded and it's relaxed, it can sit with the discomfort of not knowing. And this is the type of nervous system that can more easily and readily handle reality and can see what's in front of it. And when I say relaxed nervous system, this doesn't mean that you never get rattled. And I want to put this disclaimer starting out right now, because I think a lot of times when we hear about, like, a nervous system that's calm, or a nervous system that's relaxed, or whatever word you want to put there, we think of just like, basically we have to be like a monk who's sitting cross-legged and meditating all day, and that's not what it means. It means that, yeah, you're going to get rattled, you're going to get dysregulated, but it's how quickly can you come out of that state. And that's what a regulated nervous system is. Regulated nervous system isn't about not ever getting dysregulated. It's impossible. We live in life. Like, it's going to happen, but it's how quickly can you get back to that. So a relaxed and expanded nervous system isn't one that never gets rattled or dysregulated, but it's one that has the resiliency to bounce back. It's like a rubber band. It can bounce back to its shape within, a pretty short period of time. This is the type of nervous system. This is the goal. Because this is the type of nervous system that can handle and see reality in an objective way without attaching the stories and all the things that we've talked about. So processing feelings and sensations, releasing releasing the tightening is what I was trying to say, releasing the tightening of this wound up nervous system. This increases your bandwidth to be able to take in more information, be able to handle more things. When we can handle more in this way, this is when we open ourselves up to infinite possibilities in life. We open ourselves to opportunities and things that we never thought possible. By opening up your nervous system, you're able to access all of the information from your subconscious, thoughts and ideas and connections that you didn't even know existed. You're literally like opening up this portal to your subconscious when we're able to bring our nervous system into that state. So each time you feel an emotion, your nervous system relaxes, the contraction, the resistance is released, and it's like this upgrade. So now you have this upgraded perspective on reality with each unraveling this each process of this unraveling of our nervous system. So it's like every time we do this, it's building resiliency. It's just kind of next level, next level. It's like in a game. You're playing a game. It's like you move to the next level. And this is how we build expansion of the body. This is how we create this constant energetic flow. Yesterday or the last episode, I talked about having access to that creative life force energy, like constant access. This is how it happens. It's when we can go through this process, feel the emotion that's there, your nervous system, because basically what we're doing when we're allowing ourselves to feel this emotion, we're telling our nervous system, it's okay to feel this. That's what we're telling it. That's how we build resiliency. It's okay to feel this. It's okay right now to sit with the shame. It's okay right now to sit with the guilt. It's okay to sit with the fear, right? I can sit with it and be okay. And then the contraction is released. We allow it to move through the body because we haven't attached any stories to it. We've allowed to move it through the body, and now we can upgrade to the next level. This can be a process. And I want to say that too. This isn't like we're going to work on this for a week and then you're good. I mean, I guess it's possible, but it's not probable. This is a process that you hone in on and you work on constantly, in recognizing that every time you cry and you feel fear and you feel grief and you want to scream into a pillow and you feel the depths of your rage, right? You know that you're releasing old stories and old wounds that have been built up in your nervous system, in your subconscious. You're letting those out. We're freeing the energy that was tied up in those patterns. And now we have this energetic flow. So this process, in this process, you're just shaving off layers and layers and allowing your like space in your body for new energy to flow. And it's not even new energy, it's energy that's there, but you're allowing energy to flow and you're expanding. The thing I want to say here, because I say this to my clients when we're in a quantum healing session, I tell them, we're digging into the subconscious and we have to tell ourselves going into the process that whatever comes up is safe to be released, because if it's coming up, your nervous system is ready to release it, that your nervous system is ready to process it and release this energy. And so when you feel an emotion, and that's kind of where we start to compound what's the garbage and top of garbage thing, is because the emotion comes up, but then we're like, no, 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 shove it back down, whoop, put it back in the bottle. And it just sits there on top of your nervous system is giving you a sign that, hey, I'm ready to let go of this. When an emotion is coming to the surface, it's ready to be released. And you're holding your nervous system back from getting into this more expansive space by putting the bottle back on and shoving it back down. The other thing is, you may feel safer feeling your emotions. That I talked yesterday in the last episode about kind of the diluted version of your emotions. And so you might feel safer feeling your emotions at 30% or 40% or 50% instead of like going all the way to 1,000. But when you do that, when you only let yourself feel them at that 30 or 40%, you're only going to reclaim 30 or 40% of your energy back. We have to really go to the depths and allow all of that energy to flow back into the body. When you let yourself feel them at 1,000, you're going to reclaim your energy back at 1,000. As you build your capacity, because that's the other thing, this is about building capacity. As you build your capacity to feel it all, you're going to build your capacity for this full expansion. See where that you're telling yourself that you just want to feel it to get it over with, and you're kind of overcoming the feelings rather than feeling them, because there is the process in this, and I have been guilty of this so many times, where it's all a heady thing. It's all in your head. You're doing it from your mind, where you're just feeling it to get over it. I'm acknowledging, I know it's there. I'm recognizing it. I see you, but then I'm just feeling it to feel, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I feel it. And you're just doing it to get it over with. And you're not really, again, sitting with them at 1,000. That's you kind of watering it down and feeling them at 30, 40%. It's you really trying to overpower the emotions with your intellect, with your analytical mind, rather than being in the discomfort in order to really free yourself and free that energy up. So as your nervous system relaxes, we're getting to that ideal state of having a relaxed nervous system. You'll feel safe going into these uncomfortable places. It's not going to feel as foreign and as unfamiliar and as scary going into these uncomfortable places, because it's these places where your previous consciousness would have avoided. It's like you've hit the next level. And so now there's another level of safety going into the process the next time, right? So it's not as scary. It gets better, it gets easier the more we do it. And in these places, when you allow yourself to go into these places, you're going to start really dismantling these limiting beliefs and these old stories that we talked about in episode 2 of this series, and these old stories and patterns and assumptions and perceptions that we have that aren't serving us, that are creating more contraction in the body. We're going to start dismantling those old stories and release those contractions. And each time you find yourself back in kind of that feeling of resistance or contraction, you're going to notice that there's more and more space surrounding it, which is going to allow more awareness and ease in releasing it. It's not as tight. The contraction's not as tight because it's not like compounded with 28 stories and 28 other emotions that have been layered on top of it. Right? You have more space to let go of it. There's less things tied to it. And so each release of contraction and resistance, and then the following expansion that happens from that, this expansion of energy, this flow of energy, it's going to be this chain reaction that allows your nervous system and kind of the memory of your nervous system to usher in more room for expansion and your supernatural abilities. And that's what Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about. If you ever read the book Supernatural or Becoming Supernatural, that's what he's talking about. Like, we're letting go of all of this and allowing for this the more we can allow this free flow of energy, the more we are literally calling in our supernatural abilities, these parts of our subconscious mind that we would not otherwise have access to. And it all happens when we build this strength and resiliency in our nervous system, allow ourselves the space to feel safe, to feel all of these things, allow them to move through the body. We are opening up more space in the body. This, my friends, I'm telling you, this is the key to getting rid of dis-ease in the body. This is a bold statement, but I'm going to say it anyway. It sounds crazy, but I'm going to say it. I really strongly believe if we could all hone in on these skills that I'm talking about, and building this emotional resiliency and building on emotional intelligence and these strategies and tactics and processes, we could literally eliminate 99% of the dis-ease on this planet. And this is the reason that I'm no longer offering my clients to just do labs and get the lab and the protocol and then be out. Like, there's, to me, unless you're getting this from somewhere else, and sometimes that does happen. Sometimes people are like, oh no, I have a holistic therapist I work with or whatever, and that's great. That's the stuff. But otherwise, it's like, I honestly don't think it's going to do that much working with me. If you're just coming to do the labs and you want your protocol and you want to be sent on your way, there's a chance it can make some changes. There's a chance it can make some shifts. But if it's not tying into this work with the emotions and uncovering what your subconscious mind is hiding in the body and peeling back the layers of what's hiding in the body, I really honestly don't believe it's doing that much good. And I know that's a bold statement, and that's it may not be what you want to be hearing right now, but I it's why I've been talking on social media about my quantum reset, and I have links in the show notes if you want to talk to me about it. But it's really and truly why I created this kind of program, this bundle of services, because I mean, yeah, I've had plenty of people who are like, I just want to run the labs and you give me my protocol and then they kind of go do it on their own. And that's fine, but it's only going to get you so far. And if you're not working on this stuff, and again, it doesn't necessarily have to mean you're doing all of this work with me. It can be on your own, or it can be with another practitioner, whatever. But if you're not putting in this work with the energy body, working on this complex topic of emotions, because it is complex. I mean, let's be honest, emotions. It seems like it's such a simple thing, but it's complex in the body because as we've talked about, the emotions in the body are complex because we attach the stories and all that to them, and so it's not just like this one emotion that's living there. It's all the stories we have attached to it, and so it's like a little spider web. It's attached to all these other things in the body. It's like here's the crux of it is the emotion, but then there's little webs attached to all these other things. So it's just like a cacophony of spider webs of emotions in the body because they're all attached to different things, and it's a complex thing. So my point is, if you're not attaching that work to the other work that we're doing with, the physical parts, which is important. I'm not saying it's not important. It's only going to get you so far. And I've done an Instagram live this week talking about this because I just feel like it's such a crucial piece. And I have people, I mean, honestly, in the past, it's been like it's all very synchronistic because I've had multiple conversations in the past 2 weeks since I've started doing this. And it's not because I've listened to these episodes. It's just kind of the energy I'm putting out there, but having these conversations about people who have worked with other practitioners, they've worked with other functional practitioners, they've worked with other like conventional medical doctors, they've even worked with other like therapists, and they haven't gotten where they want to go. They haven't got the results they're looking for. They haven't got the transformation that they're looking for. And it's really because they're only doing one part of this or like a half a part of this. It's not putting the whole equation together. And a woman that she just signed on with me a couple days ago. That was where she came from. And I had this conversation with her. And it honestly, it broke my heart because the conversation we had, she worked with a functional doctor and she worked with some other practitioners. And this isn't me throwing shade on anybody. Let me just make that claim. I'm not throwing shade. I just know I have other strategies that other practitioners don't use. That's it. It's just different. It's just other things. But this woman I was talking to, she has multiple things going on in her body, and she worked with this functional medicine doctor for 6 months plus. It's been over 6 months at this point, and she really doesn't feel any better. She's lost some weight, which that's great, but she doesn't feel better. And she was saying that she said, I feel like the light has gone out in my soul. Like I don't feel good, 90% of the time. I don't have energy. My husband and I wanted to have kids, and now I don't even think it's possible. And she said, I just feel like the light has gone out of my soul. And I'm getting emotional talking about it because that just broke my heart because I see that happen so much where we people get so tied down with their symptoms and this emotional baggage that they don't even know they have, and it literally dims the light on their soul, and they're not showing up 100%. They're not showing up with their family. They're not showing up with in their business, in their career. And that, to me, that's what breaks my heart, is knowing that people aren't living full out. Women are not able to live full out because they're being held back by their bodies and what's going on inside of their bodies. And I didn't expect to get emotional about that like that, but it really does break my heart. And it really does. That is why I do this work. And that is why I've created the programs in the way I've created them, and adding this work. And that's why I've chosen to spend thousands of more dollars to do my training right now that I'm finishing in hypnotherapy and neurolinguistic programming. And this whole program is to 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 be able to bring in these subconscious pieces to untangle the parts that people haven't been able to touch and other practitioners haven't been able to touch. It's putting all these pieces together. And it's why I wanted to do this series and bring it to you on here so that, even if we never work together, and I never talk to you or speak to you. We never have contact with each other. I'm giving you the tools for you to take this journey on for yourself because, like I mentioned, I really don't see the dis-ease, this epidemic of disease, chronic disease in the Western world and just around the world in general. It's never going to move the needle on getting to the root of it if we aren't connecting these pieces. And as I said, and I think I said it in the first episode, you can take all the supplements and do all the labs and do all the dietary changes, but if you don't address what's going on in your heart and in your head, it's not going to do anything. And that's what these pieces are. With the work that I talked about today in your nervous system, like this is a big piece, and just building the resiliency in a nervous system, helping our nervous system feel safe to feel all the things, and allowing yourself this space to find like stillness and quietness, I don't know if that's a word, in your day, to be able to feel what's happening in your body. Because that's the other question is that you might be asking, or you might have asked before, how do I feel what's there? How do I feel what's there? We've got to take the space to relax the body so that we can sit with it and see what comes up. And I think this is another thing, people avoid this because they're afraid what's going to come up. It's really the number one reason, I would say, why people choose to not meditate. I talk about meditation all the time, and I know people have a lot of resistance to it. Well, I can't sit still that long, and I can't stop thinking, and I can't. Da, 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 da. Well, it's because on a subconscious level, if you make the space and you give yourself the space, you're afraid what's going to come up, right? Maybe you're afraid of meeting yourself for the first time when you take the space to do it. That's a real thing. And if we are not allowing ourselves the space to sit in silence and quietness, solitude, all of those things, then we're not allowing ourselves to feel what's there. That's when the emotions we allow ourselves, that we are providing this kind of environment of safety for our nervous system, and that's when things come up. That's the piece, y'all. It's creating this environment of safety in our nervous system. It's the same reason why one of the first steps with the physical protocol with my clients, we stop their stress response and we, work on anti-inflammatory diet and all these things, is because we want to stop the stress response to create an environment of safety in the body so that it can start doing what it needs to do, which is heal. When your body is stuck in fight, flight, or freeze, it's literally physiologically impossible for you to heal. We have to be in that rest and digest state. We have to get to that parasympathetic state in the nervous system for it to be able to heal. Physiologically, it's impossible. This is a fact. And it's the same reason why you create space. Like I talk about mindfulness practices. And I know it's not like, it's like the boring stuff I feel like it is. And people get like bored and their eyes start to glaze over when I start talking about mindfulness practices and meditation and breath work and all the things. But that's the reason. The reason is when we implement these practices, we're providing a safe environment for our nervous system to slow down. And that's providing this safe environment for your nervous system to feel safe. We want it to feel safe so we can see what comes up. When we allow our nervous system to be in this safe space, a safe environment, that's when we are really allowing things to kind of bubble up to the surface. And that's what I want to leave you with in this episode is to invite you to create that space for yourself, to create the space to sit and relax your body and be with your body and take yourself to like, I've talked about taking yourself to the depths of your feeling your emotions. Take yourself to the depths of relaxation. Like how relaxed can you get your body? This deep state of relaxation. This is the foundation for accessing what's hiding in your subconscious and for the foundation for accessing expansion. It's noticing where you're holding tension. It's letting go of the tension in your physical body, allowing yourself to feel safe, and then seeing what comes up. That's the first step. So if you want to know how to get to that relaxed nervous system, this is it. And mindfulness practices can look different for everybody. Yes, I think everybody should be meditating. Blanket statement. I'm going to say it. I don't have a lot of blanket statements for everybody's health, but I do think everybody should be meditating. I really do. Not saying you have to jump straight there if that's like a foreign thing for you, but I would encourage you to, maybe work up to that. So maybe you start with breath work. Yoga is, a good place to kind of work on the mind body. So anything that's going to kind of get you into that mind body space where you're thinking about thinking, you're getting out of your head, you're getting into your body, journaling, all of those things, and start to work with that. And I hope that this series has given you a lot to think about and given you some tools that you can start to learn about your own relationships with your emotions, and maybe uncovering where you're holding on in your physical body, you're holding on to emotions, and where that is causing you some dis-ease in your body. It doesn't mean that you have to have like a disease, like you have a diagnosis of a disease or diseases. You might, but you might not. But you can still carry dis-ease in the body without a diagnosis. I work with women all the time. They've never been given a diagnosis of any disease, but they know that there's dis-ease in the body because things aren't functioning right. There's imbalances, there's chronic symptoms. They don't feel good. They know that they don't feel good. Like the woman I was talking about, where she said she just felt like the light of her soul was out. Right. You know the difference. And if you're listening to this, you have enough self-awareness to know the difference. And so I'm hoping that these episodes give you the tools to start to uncover those things and give you some things to think about. If you really want to dive in deeper to the work that I do, if you want somebody to guide you through the process, you're not saying you have to, because you don't. You could totally do all this stuff on your own. But if you want to have someone guide you through the process, that is what my quantum healing sessions are about, and what my quantum reset is about. And I have a couple different options for those. So I'm going to put links to all that in the show notes. And I would love to know questions, takeaways, thoughts, any of this. I'm so passionate about this because, I mean, it's obvious I got emotional talking about it, but I'm so passionate about it because I see the difference that it's making in the clients that are implementing it. And I see the opposite of that. Like, I see how people are just staying stuck because they're not implementing this. It's just holding them back from so many things. So I really am so passionate about putting all this together. So yeah, let me know your thoughts and your takeaways and all of the things. I love to hear from y'all. I'm going to send me a message on Instagram, on Facebook, or send me an email. I'm going to put links to some things in the show notes if you want to think about, diving deeper, or you want some guidance to help you with these processes. I really, really hope that these episodes have served you well, this little mini series. And I'm grateful for y'all sticking through it and going through the process. I applaud all of you who are like actually doing the work. And I encourage you, anyone who's listening and hasn't dove into the work, I challenge you to go back to part 1, do the exercises, and kind of go through some of this stuff and just see what happens. I thank y'all. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for listening to Hopeful and Wholesome, y'all. If you found value in this week's episode, please subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast, and leave a review to let me know what you thought. I'd love to know what you find useful in these episodes so I can know how to provide the most value I can to my listeners. And if you have topics you'd like to know more about, I'd love to hear those as well. So shoot me a message on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. It's at the Hope Pedraza, or you can visit my website, hopefulandwholesome.com. Thanks, y'all.